Hey everybody. Today we're going to talk about how sometimes action has to come before mindset. So you hear a lot about mindset work, right now you hear a lot about changing your mindset and having the right mindset, and you got to make a change and you got to work on your mindset. Well, that is all great, except mindset is incredibly difficult to change. Your mind is very difficult to change. Um, think about changes that you didn't pick. Think about changes that are put on you. Think about even things that you want to try or do. It's very hard to decide. So it's been really funny because there's so much focus on mindset that I really feel like people are kind of missing the point. Because if you think about what about think about the time in your life when you have tried to convince yourself to do something that your mind was like, no, 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 no. And sometimes you do it anyway, right? One of the examples that comes to mind is like maybe you've jumped out of an airplane. I have not, no interest, but I have friends who have. My partner has like dozens of times, hundreds of times. I don't know. Crazy. But your brain is thinking, no, 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 no. I mean, part of your brain. Another part's like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. And at some point you just jump out the window or the door. And then your brain then knows it will be fine. And then your brain learns, and then the next time is less scary. So another example that comes to mind is that we're tubing in the Redwater River. And there is a tiny little rock ledge, that makes a tiny waterfall, maybe 3 feet, maybe. But the first time we went over it, so we were floating along, my daughter and I go over at the same time. It's pretty wide. My daughter and I go over at the same time. Well, she shoots the middle and just cruises. Well, I am on the left-hand side and I get caught in the sort of the churn and it flips me over. Now, I've survived, obviously. Wasn't even a big deal. The river's not that deep or that fast, so I popped up, gathered my things, and sorted it out. Well, the funny thing is I survived that, but in my head, that was still a really scary moment. So the next time we went, which was just recently, like last weekend, we were in there and we're floating down, and I was dreading this waterfall. I knew one part of my brain knew I could make it, and the other part of my brain was worried and then expected to flip. And actually, a bigger part of it is now that I knew you could get flipped, I was worried about my daughter in her tube. She's a good swimmer, but she's not like river swimmer. So I was worried about it. So in my mind, I could not change my mind. I couldn't fix my mindset. I couldn't have a better attitude about it. Like, that's just not how it works. So sometimes you have to have the action come before the mindset shift. So in this case, I said, we're just going to do it. We're going to go. It'll be fine. There's 2 adults. We're going to make sure everyone's okay. So Alex went down first, and then Cappy went behind her because I knew he wouldn't let anything happen to her. And then I went last in case he somehow missed her if she needed help, and then I'd be there. So what happened, of course, is she went first. We knew about where to go. She went first, was fine. Cappy went first, was fine. Then I went first, fine. Or I went last. So the important thing is that the action of, I know I can handle it, but I'm unsure, and I can't not be scared of this. Action had to come first for me to start learning that it wasn't as scary as I thought it was or was afraid it was. And so it's a very simple example, but often what we try to do is get our mindset right or fixed first before we actually do anything. So what I would encourage you to do is think about what action can you take to help shift your mind about it. So I was working with one of my clients today, one of my executive advisory clients, and she has some real focused energy on money and a lack of money. And she's making things work. She's making money. She has revenue coming in, but she's always worried about it. So what I said was, what I said is, can you change the way you think about money? Because I think her being locked down about money is sort of preventing money from coming in too. And she said, well, this is how she does it. She has spreadsheets. She has all the plan and what she needs. And I said, well, let's try. I want you to do something in the next 2 weeks, because we meet every 2 weeks. I want you to do something in the next 2 weeks that's going to just try something small, track what you think is going to happen, track how it actually happens, and what you're going to find out is it's much easier than you think. So this is also a strategy for you if you, let's say you, networking is a great example. Networking events, you hate them, you hate going, they're a miserable thing. And then you might make yourself go and you could have a miserable experience. Reinforcing, the action is reinforcing your mindset. So an example of what you could try then is to say, I'm going to go to this networking meeting. It always is a mess. I always am miserable. So what are you going to do different? Lay out the action you want to take. I'm going to talk to the organizer because I know her and that's a comfortable interaction for me. And then I can ask her to introduce me to somebody. Because the more that you have the experience that's positive, the more your brain can change. But you cannot just decide. It's very difficult to just decide you're going to change your thoughts. Your brain is always learning. So the great news is that if you want to make a change and your mindset doesn't feel like you've got it handled or that it's really working or you've tried other techniques and you just really still feel like you're resisting, then go do something different. Create an action, very small, don't get overwhelmed. Create a small action that's going to help train your brain that things work in the way that you think they should or in the direction you want your mindset to shift. And a lot of times our mind is set in ways that we don't even realize. So if you're having a hard time accomplishing something or moving through a transition or trying a new thing, often it's taking small actual actions to help train your brain to change. So if you're having a hard time with the mindset shift, actually 180 that thing and try some actions instead. And I bet you will be able to achieve your goals much faster, have a lot more fun, a lot less anxiety, and actually, maybe bring some people along with you. So give that a try. I'd love to find out if you've done that before or what times you've done it before, when you've just done the action first and then helped get your brain in the right space. So sometimes mindset stuff works, but action usually works faster. So go try that. Good luck. Let me know how it goes. Talk to you later.